Hey everybody, it's Audrey. Thank you for joining me today for the Clique Kits Instagram and blog share and Facebook share and just sharing everywhere. So every month the Clique Kits team and members can show off creations that they've made with this month's kit. So I am working with the April kit. And I am going to be using a stamp that you saw there at the beginning. This month we are doing a little collaboration with the Latina Crafter, and so everybody got a stamp set this month, and this is the stamps that I have. I'm using the, it's like an alpha, so I absolutely love this stamp set, and I love what I did with it on this page, and I can't wait to do this technique again. So anyway, I'm sticking with a pretty simple design. I know I'm going to have a lot of journaling on this page, and my goal is to use the stamp set for my journaling. So I am going to kind of create an area for my journaling in one of the corners of my page, and then in the other corner of my page I'm going to have my photo. So I have cut a whole bunch of strips of paper from the kit, and these are, actually I think all of these papers are the Bella Boulevard papers. So I cut one of the floral pieces and a couple of the other like geometric pattern pieces, and I'm going to kind of create this. It's not really a grid, but it's kind of like a frame, I guess you could say. So I'm just doing the two corners of a frame. So yeah, I didn't cut the strips at a specific length. I just kind of randomly cut strips of different widths, and now I'm going to back my photo with some pattern paper, and I decided to do some pinks and yellows here. And design-wise, I'm really going to kind of leave the design simple because, again, I want to focus on the journaling. So that's pretty much it for the papers that I will be using. So next I decided I wanted to add a little bit of mixed media to the background there. So I am just going to use some mist. I think this is called, that color is called Clover maybe, from, it's an old Mr. Huey's. And then a couple other shades of green here. This one is called Leaf Green, also a Mr. Huey's. So I'm just putting it on some packaging, adding, do I even add any water? Yeah, I add a couple spritzes of water and just kind of rubbing it into my background cardstock. And this cardstock, by the way, is called Marshmallow. It's from Basil. It's a very, very, very thick and heavy cardstock. So I did not prime it with gesso, and it doesn't really warp at all. It's a very thick cardstock, and I like using it for backgrounds like this because it holds up well to water-based substances. So also spraying in a few kind of teal blues there. Again, I have so many mists. I honestly probably have close to 70 or 80 different colors, different bottles rather. And so I just pulled out some blues and greens from my stash. And it's funny because I only actually use a couple of the same colors over and over again. So a lot of them I don't even use very often. So I am taping down my paper a little bit because it was a little bit curled on the edges, and I can't stand when it's like that when I organize things in the page, because I'll accidentally hit the edge of the page that's sticking up and knock everything around, and I don't really glue things down until the last minute, so things are always loose, and if I knock it, then it's going to go all mixed up. So I just taped it down. I'm going to put my strips back on in the grid. I wanted the kind of colorful pattern one to be on top, so of the other two, and have the green and the blue strips kind of just in the background there. And I also just staggered the lengths of each strip as well. So now I have that all laid out, and I'm going to kind of go through and pick out some embellishments here. I love having that scripty title up in the top left up there, and I liked that word, and I know you probably can't tell, but it's actually gold foil. And the way it looks right now, you can't see the shininess on it. And I definitely wanted something black up there, and I didn't know if it was going to be dark enough, because if you look at it now, it kind of looks black or like a dark gray, but it was actually gold. There you can see the shimmer from it. So I really wanted to have something black, so I actually end up taking that off. But I like the idea of the scripty title up there. And then I'm just going to kind of layer a couple flowers, and I'm looking for a couple other little black and white elements. You saw I actually took one of the bags that some of the, like it's a decorative black and white striped bag that some of the embellishments come in the kit, and I cut a little strip off the bag because I wanted a black and white stripe, so I added that to help bring emphasis to the title area, and then I had to add another piece of that down by my photo as well. And then I'm just layering a couple stickers and a couple die cuts. This is the printable that comes with the kit, and I'm bringing in another black element here down by the photo because I thought that if I had the black title up in the top left corner that I needed something, again, with a stronger black element down in the bottom right. So on the left you can see I have typed up, or maybe right in the middle, my journaling, and it's very long. And my thought here is that I am going to handwrite and stamp my journaling with that stamp that I showed you at the very beginning of the video. So I decided to print it all up and type it all out first before I started because, you know, I didn't want to make any mistakes along the way. Before I actually start stamping though, I'm going to just glue these strips down. Usually I use my edge distressing tool and, you know, adds a little bit of texture to the edges of my pattern papers, but I didn't do that here. I'm not sure why, but yeah, so I'm just going to leave those as is. And the thing I like using, the reason I like using a liquid glue is you can kind of see what I'm doing. Like when I have the pieces like where I want them, I can just lift up a little corner and then put the nozzle of the tip of the glue right underneath the strip and then just put, you know, the piece of pattern paper right back down. So I love using liquid glue for that reason. With a tape runner, you have to take your piece off and flip it upside down and put the adhesive on the back. So that's another reason why I really like to use liquid glue. Okay, so I'm going to trim those ends off. I really like how colorful that is. And now I'm just going to use a pencil and start drawing my lines for my journaling. I left a little bit of a space up there for my title. And you can see I held the stamps up there to kind of gauge how tall I needed to have my lines spaced. So, and I'm also, as I'm going down the page, my lines get shorter and shorter and shorter because I kind of want to have the journaling like tapered down towards the bottom. I also went through my journaling printout and I circled words that I wanted to highlight and that I was going to stamp with. So I have come to the first word in my journaling that I wanted to stamp out. So I'm just using, I took a little, a clear stamp block, put my letters on it, and of course, like this word, I think is going to be backyard, and of course I needed the A 2 times, so I decided to stamp it in two separate times, just because I needed the A the second time and there's only one A. So I'm going to keep doing this and picking out certain words and stamping those words, and then once I finish stamping a word, I handwrite the next part of my journaling and keep going on with this. I have a paper towel there because as I was handwriting, I was starting to smear some of my mist splatters. So there is the journaling all finished. I absolutely love how it came out. It couldn't have been more perfect. From what I envisioned in my mind. And one of the things I was worried about is like how the stamped words were going to be spread out around the journaling area. Like I just didn't want like a whole bunch of stamped words to end up towards the left. So they're really scattered throughout the entire journaling. And I also love that if you just look at the words that I stamped, that they kind of tell a story too. By the way, this picture, ironically, is not even about my daughter. This picture is about the tree. It's a tree we've had in our backyard for a while, and we had to cut it down last year, and we really loved it. So it was a little bit sad, but I thought it was a great story to tell. So there you can see my finished page, and I just added a couple stickers, and you can see I added a doily behind my photo to help ground it a little bit more and make it stand off and make the die cut stand off a little bit more. And then the scripty word love from those foam stickers down in the bottom right. And there's a close-up of that journaling. So thanks so much for joining me today. Be sure to check out all the other participants in the Clique Kits shared today. Have a great day. Stay scrappy.